Then. Yeah, so like I said, this will be a tutorial for like, cause I guess my last tutorial was kind of mainly towards like I explained everything super in depth, and this time I won't, and it'll be a fast route, like it'll be a route for people who know what they're doing, basically. You know. Okay, so I mean, standard mercenary branch. Yeah. Okay, I actually feel like this might be a bit loud. Okay, so that's too quiet though. Shadow, what's up, dude? Okay, so start unequip everything is what I always do. Obviously, we don't really need Estus on this run. Like, the only run where I can think, like, no hit run where you get Estus is, like, if you're doing magic, I guess, or if you're, you know, doing some skips or whatever, but I won't worry about that. I run, like, you know, a lot of people actually kill some guys here. I don't even bother. Like, there's not really a point. Also, Pixie, if I didn't say hi, what's up? Straight for this guy. So, Gundyr, the fastest kill that I know of with Twin Blades is as follows. So, basically, you start out, you drain full stamina. Like, you do 5 hits before he gets up, and you kind of move behind him, right? So, 3, 4. And then you do a 5th. And then you're going to try to get 3 hits off here. Like, it depends on his RNG. Like, if he punches, then don't try to, but... So, yeah, you do this 3rd hit, and then the next hit he's going to stagger. And then you want to, like, pump him. So you want to make sure you just have full stamina for that. And then you do 2 quick hits here. And then wait until your stamina is, like, decently full, and then 3 hits will stagger him again. And then finish him off with 2. It's super, like, I mean... It's Gundyr. You should know how to fight Gundyr. If you're wanting to do this route. Yeah, so like I said, I think if... I don't know, if you're watching this and, you know, you're not as experienced with the game, but you still want to, like, do no hit runs or whatever, I do have an older tutorial from almost exactly a year ago now that is way more in depth than this, but it's also, like, older strats because it's, like, a year ago, so, like, maybe a combination of both is good. Okay, so what we're going to do here... Also, do you know what's up, by the way, dude? We're going to buy 2 bones... dagger, short sword, and I just like to buy 3 bombs, like, because we do need a few bombs in this run. Just a few. But it depends on which rings you pick up. Like, on this route, I'm not going to be picking up Blood Ring. We're not going to pick up Flynn's and Clorthy Ring either. Where, you know, like, normally you need some bombs for both of those. But yeah, we're not going to get them on this run because, honestly, they're not... Like, Blood Ring you might want to get if you're doing your first run. Because you might as well, right? But, like I said, I go over them the other tutorials, so I think I do, at least. Basically, you use fire bombs and you hit the guys, whatever. Okay, so this area, like, we only have to pick up a few things. Basically, we're going to get gold pine resin, a few more fire bombs, actually, and then black fire bombs, and that's basically it. So, you know, we go through pretty quickly. And then there's also some alternate routing that you can do. There's a certain path that's a little bit slower, next to where the dragon is coming up.
Maybe I'll give you the best nut ever.
This is the gold pine resin here. Watch out for that guy. You can aggro sometimes. Oh my god, Ziggy, thanks for the 10 subs, dude. Okay, so this is where the alternate routing is. I'll make a save here.
Maybe I'll give you the best nut ever.
Ziggy, that's insane, dude. Okay, so yeah, so what I like to do is strafe those guys, and then... Actually, fuck this up. I'm gonna redo this. Yeah, Ziggy, thanks so much, dude.
Maybe...
That's crazy.
I'll give you the best nut ever.
Okay, so yeah, I'll show both routes. There's one that most people do.
Too far.
Also, my stamina's gonna be kind of messed up here, but it's not a huge deal. Spectre, welcome back as well.
Maybe-
I'll do so I'll do
I'll give you
what
the
most
best
people do
nut
at this part
ever.
here first. So what people normally do is run up the stairs.
This is going too far.
And there's 3 guys that you have to dodge, and you know, some people like actually have a hard time with that.
Maybe.
And then so what you would do is jump
Best
across
nut
here,
ever.
like dodge those guys, jump across here, and then open the gate, and that's how you
This
get
is
here.
going too far.
At this point, I don't do that anymore because it's slower, and it's honestly like it's really not that much safer.
Maybe.
Like if at all.
I'll give you the best nut ever. This is going too far.
Yeah, Ziggy, thank you very much, dude. Yeah, okay, so this is the route that I normally take. So normally I go through here.
I'll
You
give
could just
the
strafe
best
this guy's
nut
arrow,
ever.
and so is this guy, or same with that arrow, and then you can just run up here.
This is going too
But I guess
far.
going this way, there's a few more things you need to worry about. So like that way's like maybe a little bit more skill.
Maybe.
Like
I'll
you
give
might
you
have
the
to dodge
best
some attacks, you might have to
nut
strafe. The arrow guy can do some different timings and stuff. You just
This
need
is
to
going
like
too
pay
far.
attention. Yeah, and then you dodge past the knight, pick up these fire bombs. You don't have to or anything, but I usually do.
Maybe.
And then we're gonna heal
I'll
off
give you
this
the best
ledge, heal
nut
cancel.
ever.
And then here are the black fire
This is
bombs I was
going
talking
too
about.
far.
And then I wait for a second for the knight to pass, just to, you know. I like to pick up this ember. And then we're gonna go down here.
Maybe.
Do that like
I'll
hot
give you the best nut ever.
like landing strat there, that jump.
This is going too
Literally
far.
does nothing, but I like to dodge past these knights. You can strafe them super easily. At least the spear guy. Okay, I like to kill Emma because it actually just makes some timings work out a bit better. So you can just do 3 R2s. Like, I think it's probably a good idea. Just because if you don't and you like rush through here, just these knights are going to be like right at the door when you're leaving. And it just makes the timing. It's just, killing her makes the timing a little bit nicer. And then this guy will be walking towards you, which is also nice. And I like to come up this side on the way back. It's just, I feel like it's more consistent. It's not, like, it's a little bit slower, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, go past these guys. Yeah, I'm probably not going to explain the boss fights. Like, I think I did a little bit in my other tutorial, but like I said, if, you know, I'm kind of expecting people who are going to be watching this to be a little bit more experienced at the game. Probably know how to fight the bosses and stuff. But I mean, you can watch the general idea of the fights here. Like, Vort, honestly, like, you don't need to roll most of his stuff if you're in the right spot. One thing I will say is if you're behind him like this, on the charges, he'll do it instantly, which is just a bit faster. And then what people have started doing is the R2 here. So when he's at the peak head height is when you can start doing the R2. And if you get it to the head as he's doing the frostbite, like, I guess the one tip I have there is you have a lot more time than you probably think. Like, you can really just like walk in front of him and start up that R2, and it's really no big deal. And if you miss, it's not the end of the world either. You can just go behind him and finish him off. And like, that's the reason we get short sword is for Vort mainly. Because, yeah, the twin blades are absolute trash early game without the sharp gem and without dex and stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do here then is plunge these dogs, and I fucked it up, but it's okay. That's actually good. So if you miss, you can just R2. But yeah, normally you would like hit both of them in that, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so here you want to line up a black firebomb. So at first it might be like a little bit tricky to get that. It's actually not necessary. Like, you don't need to do that technically. The alternate is you can throw a skull. You can like move a bit further up and throw a skull. That also works, and you can 100% do that if you want. The black firebomb is kind of like just a... It's just nice strat if you're tight on skulls, which we actually won't be, but that's what you can do. Also, you don't necessarily need to kill these guys either. Just, you want to get a path to the small leather shield because it is quite useful. So I'm going to jump across here. You don't need to like do that little thing. You can just walk around the cage, but there is a thrall there that you need to pay attention to. And, you know, he could... Yeah, see, he just fell there. You actually have to watch out for knives if he falls, so you can just angle your running path a bit. And then we're going to come in here. We're going to grab the charcoal pine resin, and that cage is alive right there, so you just, you know, sure you already know that. Run up the chair. There's a few cages that are alive in here. You kind of just walk in the middle of them. Just like don't go far. See, like that guy just woke up, but if you're too close and he wakes up, he will like just hit you. So just like walk in the middle. There's a soul here that you might as well grab. And then there's a Titanite shard. And so there's a hammer guy that's probably going to be walking up here. If he does that, you just roll into him. It's, you know, it's fine. If he's not there, don't even worry about him. And then, so this lizard, I'd like to chase him, you know, towards where we're going. And then you can start up an R2, like two-handed R2, and then an R1 will kill him, which is nice. And then Aldrich will be there. He actually could come close enough to swing. I guess just pay attention to that. So we have the white branch, so the archer won't hit us. And we're going to try to bait this guy off, just like I did in the last tutorial. Just like that. If he doesn't fall, like, he can potentially not fall. If he does that, just dodge his attack, and, you know, if you know how to do this little jump that I just did, then it makes this part a bit easier. If not, then you're probably going to want to try to run to the island, but, you know. But yeah, I guess I can show how to do this. So, it's super easy. You just kind of run up to the right. You kind of run to the top of the tombstone here. And then as soon as you get up, you just jump. Just like that. If you can't do it, you can just go around. But it makes things a bit nicer if you can do that. So we're going to pick up the ember. We're going to pick up, I guess 2 wrench because we just picked up a blank. It's not really a big deal. And I usually grab the soul. And then, you know, draw this guy out. The archer might shoot him. Yeah. Know that there's a guy behind the door too. He might die depending on what the archer does. But, you know, it just depends. Okay, so Aldrich invaded, so what we can do is actually just pop into this boss room a little bit, and it'll actually send him home, which is nice because that makes us not have to rest at this next bonfire. Which will save us time. And I am going through this pretty quickly, but like I said, I'm kind of, if you're watching this tutorial, I'm expecting that you have a little bit more experience. If you want like more in-depth stuff, then the last tutorial I did about a year ago is probably sufficient. Okay, so we have a dog stuck here. It can actually be any of these enemies. It could be an evangelist even. In the case of a dog, I would 100% say chuck a firebomb at him. And you know, he could fall, he could, you know, live or whatever, and then if he lives, just throw another one. A lot of the time he will fall off there, and you can just, you know, that's it. So what I'm going to do here, there's a number right there. You don't need to get it, but if you want to get it, that guy's going to chase you, and you could just draw him back and kill him. So I'm going to bait these guys up. Watch, this guy's got some wicked hitboxes, so, you know, watch out for that. Like, roll that guy's attack. Yeah, so basically the idea there is you bait the guys up the stairs. I actually didn't do it, like, a great job on this. But the idea is you bait them up the stairs so that they have a harder time catching you here, and I guess I did a good enough job, but that's sort of the idea. If they chase you here, it's super unlikely that they're going to hit you. But what you would want to do, so say they come in here, you would want to actually come back here and bait out an attack and just come over here. And then as soon as they attack, they can't do anything else, and they're just going to walk away, and then you could just jump on the elevator like he's not even there. Yeah, and it's like no big deal. Okay, I'm actually going to not take fall damage here because it'll actually prevent us from having the rest of the bonfire coming up if I have enough Estus. Okay, so this Outrider just, you know, dodges attack, whatever he does, that you can strafe pretty easily. There's a few strafes you can do. You're probably just gonna have to like learn his moveset because he's got a few different things he can do. That's probably the most common move right there. He could hit you at the door potentially. So if you were getting Flins and Corinthy, you would grab that bonfire, but I'm not on this run, so we're just gonna keep going. There's an 800 soul right here, and which is nice because Titanite shards we're gonna buy a few, and they're worth 800 each. So this guy will almost never do anything. Like I've seen probably once where he's actually done an attack, and like I didn't even have to roll it or anything, so don't worry about him. What's up, Nova? Yeah, you can just run past these guys. These guys don't attack unless you're coming from that side, which is kind of weird. But there's no situation where you would, anyways. So. Okay, so what we're going to do here, you actually technically don't need this bonfire, so I'm not going to get it. But you want to make sure you're full health for this drop. There's a way to damage cancel it. I honestly won't even worry about it, but the way to do it is you just kind of sprint down, and then when you're close to the bomb, you just roll. completely optional. Like, you won't die from that drop and this drop. So, like, I wouldn't worry about it. What we're going to do here, so you want to get your gold pine, your charcoal pine bundles out. And we're going to do this new hot strat. So what you do is you make sure you're at full stamina, bundle, sprint R1, and then you just kill that dog like that. And there are some guys that are around there that could chase you if you, like, miss a hit or something. So don't. That might take a little bit of getting used to, but then you want to grab this bonfire. And the good thing about that is that nobody will chase you. And you can get this bonfire for free. Okay, then what we're going to do is get grass crest, and this crab could potentially swing when you're picking it up, so you just need to, like, if he does that, you just need to wait a second before you go in to pick it up. Basically. So this mushroom can, like, headbutt you, so just, like, stay away from it if you can. And you're going to basically just take this path through here. We don't need these anymore. And we're coming here for the Farron coal. And also, so sometimes that lycanthrope can, like, chase you here. It's actually less likely when you come from this angle. Like, slightly. Like, it's always been super rare, but it's like, insanely rare from this angle. But if he does, you just need to dodge past him. And, try to bone out. Like, go into a specific... Like, just dodge past his move and then try to bone out after. And, you know, you're probably going to be okay. So yeah, so now we're gonna go into Farron Keep. So there's the crab there. So you kind of want to come from this side. You can, like, if you run a specific path there, you can avoid a roll. But yeah, you can actually run from this path, and the crab won't ever hit you. Just based off of, you know, just sprinting away. It's not a big deal. So we're gonna come in, aggro both these guys. I don't know. I like to roll his attack or whatever. Makes it faster to aggro both of them at once. And then we're gonna come up here. You actually need to watch out if, like, they swing and you're trying to outspace it, but it's close, because they have, like, shockwaves on their weapons when they hit the ground. Just because they have, like, heavy weapons. So that does count as a hit if they stagger you, so. So one of the guys actually fell there. It's, you know, that's actually, I think it's one extra level before Watchers, but it's not a big deal. So you're going to come through this angle. Something that's kind of important up here is you need to stay tight to this rock. And if you don't, then that guy will aggro, and it's just a catastrophe, so. Like, it's most of the time if he aggros, he's going to chase you right up here and probably kill you when you get out of these iframes, but sometimes you can just, like, hang back, I guess, but just don't aggro him. Okay, we're going to grab these bones. You're going to, like, run up this rock, sort of. It's just, you know. Now, I like to land on this rock, too, just to save some health. So, yeah, this guy, you can just wait for him to turn around. And then whenever he does, you can go. You can actually go a little bit earlier. But, like, I wouldn't worry about it too much, honestly. But, like, if he aggro's, it's not a big deal because he can never catch you when you're just going, like, through here like this. There's no Titan Edge out here. And then we're going to go get this bonfire. Dila, thank you very much for the host. How was your stream? How are you? And the rate, thank you. Alright, we're gonna get this bonfire. You don't need to rest, because resting is, like, kind of slow. But we're gonna have to heal in a sec. So we're gonna chuck a skull sort of at the side. It's not, like, it doesn't need to be specific at all. You're just gonna run through these guys. We're gonna get this flame. That guy won't aggro if you take that path, so it's pretty nice. It's pretty fast too. The way we do Farron is actually, like, no enemy engagement at all, which is nice. So you're gonna roll through here. This is where I'd probably heal. And you can just run up these rocks like that, and then you're gonna, like, sort of just run around up here, and then we're gonna get this next shard. So you want to make sure to, like, not try to aggro that guy. So a good rule of thumb is just to stay behind. Like, technically you don't have to, but it's probably a good idea to. Just to make sure he doesn't aggro. But, like, you can actually, like, his aggro range is pretty small. Like, you could run through here and he won't aggro. But you want the shard here. And then you just need to watch out for, there's some crawly boys in here that won't aggro if you just, you know, take a direct path. But it's just good to know that they're there. Hopefully this guy's timing isn't messed up because they just did that. It shouldn't be. Okay, so what you're going to do is run to the shadow, and that guy's walking path's going to start. I like to come up here. Like, you can get this rotten pine, but you don't actually use rotten pine on any percent. So that's more for, like, if you want it on all bosses, whatever, but Okay, so what you do is, you know, I start to walk around, you know, a shadow here. You could actually start to jog when he gets to, I guess that point. You can actually go a little bit earlier than I just did, but just did a little bit of extra time, and then you can bone out. And jogging there is actually nice because if he turns the other direction, which he can, and aggroes to you, you can actually bone out before he can hit you. So that's why that's like pretty useful. And then we're gonna drop down here. There's a Titanite shard. Just saves a few souls, and it doesn't take much time. So we're gonna come through here. You can, there's like a few strats here. Like all you just need to do is hit these guys and kill them or whatever. So you can come here, throw 2 firebombs. And if you line that up right, it'll kill all of them. And then, so we're going up here. So we have 8 Titanite shards right now, meaning we need 4 more to get +3. We're coming up here for the Dream Chaser's Ashes, which allow us to buy Titanite shards, and there's a few other things as well, like lightning, a few like lightning buffs and stuff. So Dream Chaser's there, and then we're gonna go up to the top, and there's 2 large Titanite shards up there, which we're gonna grab. So basically, yeah, we get a +4 before Watchers, and I haven't been splitting, but yeah, and you can like pop your souls here, you can heal, whatever. Probably a good idea to do that, just saves a bit of time while we're sitting here doing nothing. Yeah, so on this route, you should be getting here at around the 16-minute mark if you're doing things like pretty efficiently, which is pretty good. Like older routes got here at, you know, past 20 minutes most of the time. So okay, these lizards, just 2 R2s for each of them. I actually like to push this guy towards the other one because it actually saves like a little bit of time, right? So you'll stop running around these rocks here and you just R2. And if you like, as long as you don't miss or anything, like you'll have plenty of time to walk over even though this one's aggroed. Yeah, and then you can just go back to Shrine immediately. Yeah, so now we're gonna get, so we have the Farron, we're gonna Sharpen Fuse, the Twin Blades, and then we're gonna get them to +4 and get roughly 22 to 24 Dexterity. It kind of depends, like on this run, a guy actually died for us there. So we're probably gonna get to like 23. But yeah, you wanna give her the Ashes, we wanna sell the Embers that we picked up. And then all we need is 4 shards. We're gonna buy some firebombs after. Usually I just do it last, to make sure that like we have enough levels and stuff. Like levels aren't really that important at this point, honestly. Like you could have 16 decks and it wouldn't be an issue for the next couple bosses. But I guess one thing to note here is you actually want to upgrade the Twin Blades before you infuse them because it's slightly cheaper, right? So it's 330 souls. If I would have infused them and then tried to upgrade, it would be a little bit more. So yeah, we're gonna get them to +4. And then we're gonna give them the coal. And then we're gonna Sharpen Fuse. Alright, so now we have, you know, a couple thousand souls. We can just level up decks. Yeah, so I got to 23 decks. If I picked up like a few more souls and embers and whatever, then we actually probably could have gotten 24. But usually you want to get to like just 23 or so. And then we're going to buy a few firebombs. It honestly, like, doesn't matter how many. Like, probably 8 is a good number. Like, if you go into here with 10. Because we need, like, a few for the rest of the run, but it kind of depends how accurate you are, because we're going to be using them to kill some rats in Catacombs. And then there's also a firebomb that we're going to be throwing at the giant in Cathedral, and that's basically it for firebombs, so. Yeah, just don't miss. But yeah, the reason I have so many, like, we really only need 3. But, yeah, so we have 10 in case we miss or whatever. Okay, and so we're going to use Lightning on Watchers here. I'm not going to explain the fight in depth or anything, like all the moves, but I will, I'll show the general idea of the fight. Which, like a consistent, safe, decently fast kill. Like, there's definitely faster kills that you could do. Especially with like +4 and, you know, this much dex, but yes, we're gonna wait for these guys. You actually want to stay pretty far back because when they turn like that, they actually can just aggro, and it's sort of buggy, but yeah, they can aggro from pretty far. Okay, that's actually not good. I just took a tight path there. That's why this guy aggroed. He's actually going to chase me all the way up here. So normally, I mean, this guy's not going to chase you. You want to backstab that guy? Actually, maybe I should quit out and redo this. Okay, let's actually go back to the... let's actually reset this here. I kind of want to save my souls, though. That's fine. Okay, so I'll show you, like, so I take that path because, like, I don't really care that much, but maybe you should take a safer path. I'll show you what you probably should do. So what happened there was, like, I took a tight path to the storytellers, and they actually aggroed. Like, and it's not really a big deal. But if you just want to make sure that doesn't happen, what you should probably do is take a path that's a bit wider. And that 1,000 souls probably won't matter. So yeah, you could just, like, literally just walk on this path and they won't aggro. Like, what I did, I cut across there. Just because it's faster, you know, but... if you want to be, like, a bit safer, yeah, you can just do this. Yeah, and then they won't aggro, and it's not a big deal. And there's actually a few variables coming up with this running part. And, like, actually, so what happened last time was I backstabbed, and one of the Dark Wraiths aggroed to me, which isn't a big deal. If that happens, though, I'll explain what you do. So you want to wait for both of them to aggro. Most of the time, the Dark Wraiths won't aggro to you here, but yeah, and then you backstab this guy. You're gonna pick up this Ember. So if they don't aggro, it's actually better. And even if they aggro from far away, it's not a big deal, because they're probably gonna switch aggro, but... so when they don't aggro, you're gonna take this exact path here, and see that little route? Usually I just like to land on the right of that, because there's a guy there, and then there's a spear guy. If you take that exact path, like, there's a little bit of variation that you could have on it, then they won't aggro. So what you want to do, though, is if a Dark Wraith's, like, really close to you on the backstab and he's going after you, you want to aggro that spear guy. Because what will happen is this spear guy will aggro to you, but then when the Dark Wraith's running past, it'll actually make the Dark Wraith go after the spear guy, and so you won't get chased to this door. Because that's kind of what you want to happen here, right? So, yeah, so that's kind of what you want to do if the Dark Wraith goes after you. Okay, so now we have Watchers. Yeah, I'll show you what I would do +4 on this route. So, like, I usually buff when I get in the boss room. So, yeah, just go for... I usually go for one backstab, and then draw out another one. And then, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to walk forward and, like, at, you know, 45-degree angle forward and to the right. And then do an R2. Like, a fully charged R2, and then an L1. And so the reason you walk to the right like that is so that it makes it safe for you to actually do that without him being able to like, recover or anything. Yeah, and so what if you do it that way and then you get this aggro, like we have here, which happens most of the time, you can just get a really fast phase 1 kill. Just like that. And so phase 2, there's some pretty cool backstabs that you can go for. And sometimes you'll take a second aggro here. Like, you can run up to him and make him aggro earlier, or you can, like, throw a bomb or something, but... you know, whatever. So here's what I would do on this attack. There's actually, like, a really cool backstab that you can do on that. I wouldn't do it in any situation, unless you want to look cool and you're good at it or whatever. I can show it, though. So you can get mid-air hits when he's in the air, because he's got hyper armor, so you can do that. Yeah, and that's the exact same thing. You can even get an L1 off if you angle it right. Like, I missed one of the blades there, but... yeah, like, if you get that off, you can actually do it in 2 backstabs. You want to look cool? Yeah, you can backstab this too, just like that. I'll show the cool backstab, if I can. But yeah, you can, like, backstab all that stuff. You can even backstab these moves. I probably wouldn't, though. So here's what you can do on this move to backstab it. And it depends on your positioning. Like, certain positionings to backstab that, you would want to roll into it. I find it easier to outspace it, though, and go in. It's just more consistent. Alright, we're going to pop the soul. Also, we're going to be a little bit short on souls here by, like, about 1,000. Because of my dark sign earlier, but yeah, that's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do here is, so see how there's this, like, thing here? I just like to heal off of it. Don't actually get the heal off, but It just slows your momentum, and then you double heal off of this, and then you come down. Okay, so here's where we need more firebombs coming up. So we're going to cut across here. You want to run on the left side, just because there's a few enemies on the right coming up that can aggro, whatever. Like, you don't want to hit the button and stuff. Alright, so we're going to wait here. You can check to make sure no skeleton will chase. If you run the right path, they won't. But, like, it's just, I don't know, it's a good idea to make sure. So we're going to line up this firebomb. So there's 4 rats total here. One's right around this corner, so you can just chuck one at him. Just like that. And then there's 3 there, and if you're good, you can get them all in one. No guarantees, but... yeah, just kill these guys. Holy shit. I'm trying to do this with keyboard, it's not working. There we go. Okay, so yeah, you want to kill this. That's why we get extra. Whatever. Carthus Blood Ring's down there. I would probably recommend getting it if it's your first run. But I'm not going to grab it on this, because honestly, it's like, it's really not that useful. So there's 2 RNGs with this guy. This is the more complicated one when he walks. So when he walks, you just want to stay on the other side of the pillar. And then when he gets to about the corner, you can just start sprinting, and he'll see what he's doing. He's looking, but he's not actually aggro because he hears you. In the situation that he'll sit still there, you just want to walk up the left side, like slow walk like this up the left side, and just walk into this cage. It's really straightforward. You can actually use the short sword stance to get that slow walk effect. If you want to, it's probably a better idea, you know. You might as well. But yeah, that's what you want to do if he stands still there. You don't need to break this bridge, because we're actually on this route. We're not going to go down to Smoldering Lake, which is really nice, because Smoldering Lake's a bit of a headache, and it's really slow. Yeah, if somebody chases you here, it's like they can't get past this point, so... like, they won't even be able to come close to hitting you. Like, they can't get past, like, about here. So... okay, so on Wolnir... I prefer to start on our left, his right hand. Things are just kind of generally more consistent that way. And I don't think there's ever a situation where you need to roll on Wolnir if you do it right. So I'll try to show. There's 2 opening RNGs, and it actually kind of matters what happens. Other than that, there's very little RNG on this fight. Like in terms of even what move you get, like it's pretty scripted. So what we're gonna do here. So he'll aggro, so if we walk up to this grass patch, he'll aggro a little bit after this. Like you can see his hand and stuff. Like, so if you want to like buff or something here, like honestly, you don't need to buff for Wolnir. I just have extra, and I usually just, I've gotten into the habit of doing it. It might save 1 hit overall, but like, it's really not a big deal when you have this much dex, so anyways, what I like to do here is like, sprint, make sure I have full stamina here, and then bundle right here. And so we got the RNG right now where he kept his hand still. He's actually doing the fog breath. So in that case, yeah, break the first one, immediately come to this one. He'll always pull his hand back every single time, and so then I use the situation like this time to buff here, and then he'll pull his hand up. Break that, and so all you need to do to break the bracelets is hit on his bracelet and below. Basically, so you just like honestly in this position, you almost never need to roll anything. Like, so just like kind of right in front of them just off to the right a little bit. Hopefully I have my save file manager up. I think I do. Because I should have made a save there. I'll try to show the alternate RNG on the opener, because it's a little bit different what you have to do. But yeah, so that's the RNG where he keeps his hand still. You want to make sure you break that as quick as possible, because if you don't, you can introduce some like really, really bad RNG with like summoning. He can like summon his skeletons if you take too long there. Okay, so let's see if we get the alternate RNG. We'll just keep doing this until he gives me the other RNG. Yeah, so just make sure you break that. Like, don't hit the hand, whatever. Because the hand will not count towards the damage of the bracelet. Let's see if we get it. Hopefully we get it soon. It's actually, the other RNG is more common, I would say. Although it's like roughly 50-50. Okay, here we go. So you can get a hit in there. It's really not important. So you're going to run up to the wall and you're going to buff. This is where you can buff on this one. And so as soon as he moves that other hand up, you can go in. And it'll take 2 hits if you got that first one, 3 if you didn't. And then it's the exact same. Basically, but he'll do an attack there. And so this is the position. You just sit here. He won't hit you. Yeah, you can, whatever, finish him off. And that's wolnir. So yeah, it's just like, the only thing that really matters is the opener, and that's it. Okay, I'd like to pop the soul here. So as soon as the Air of Fire Destroyer thing comes up, you can pop that. And then, normally I'd actually unequip that, but it's okay. And then we're gonna, there's a little trick you can do to save some time, and I'm sure you know that, you know it if you're watching this, but if you hit A and X at the exact same time, which I fucked up right there, you can actually like get the bone menu up as you're lighting the bonfire, and it just saves like a tiny amount of time. It just kind of looks cool though. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're going to Sage now. So we're gonna get to, I think every single run we get to 39 dex. It shouldn't change, actually. So what we're gonna do is buy 11 bundles, and like 11 just for speed, because you just hit R1, right? And then we're gonna buy the 6 skulls, and then we're gonna buy 5 bones, and that's it. That's all you need there. Yeah, and then you just keep pumping dex. We should get to 39 exactly, and you'll get to 39 every single run. So basically, how we level on this run is just all dex, and then when you get to 40, level endurance, because you really don't need much more than 40 dex, and I would say endurance is more valuable than going over 40 dex. All right, so we got the Crucifixion Woods bonfire, so we're gonna go there. There's actually, so there's 2 paths you can take here, one being faster, but like I would say it's a little bit more risky, but like, I mean, if you have like a decent amount of time in this game, it's really no big deal to take the faster route. It's probably what, you know, I would probably do it at this point. But the alternate route is, so like there's 2 ways to get to Sage, right? There, you can go through this way, or you can go through that way. The safer strat would be to go through that way and throw firebombs at the one like enemy that's there, and then you can just go on through normal. It just, basically why it's safer is because that it's easier to like dodge that spear guy if you're coming straight at him. He actually won't even attack. And like, I mean, when I say it's safer, it's like barely, you know, like it's very safe going both ways. So I'm just gonna go this way. You just don't want to aggro that dog, right? So just take a good path here. This guy will almost every single time cast and fall off the ledge. If he doesn't, I guess just, you know, he won't really do anything most of the time, but just in case, like, pay attention. And so that's where the spear guy, he can swing at you, and it's just like you can't see him, so like it's kind of like, that's what's risky about coming this way. And like, when I say risky, I mean you probably will never get hit by that guy. It's not risky, but it's more risky than the other way. And then so what we're gonna do is come plunge. You can actually, there's a new thing here to jump over this guy. I'm not actually like 100% sure what it is, but all right, so what we're gonna do on Sage, so we actually got this RNG. I'm gonna make a save file. So this RNG, you kind of just want to wait it out. Wait until the soul mass fires. That one's actually not firing. There we go. So dodge across those to not get destroyed. So we're gonna bundle, and then take 4 hits. Not take 4 hits, give 4 hits. Or you can actually, maybe don't bundle there. Bundle for this next one. But so you want to read the crystal formations. You want to stand in that exact spot that I was standing in, and then 4 more hits. That's it. So basically the position I was standing in there when I was waiting for the crystal to show up limits Sage's teleporting to only 3 locations. And it's just like, there's other spots you can stand in too. But basically you don't want to do the thing like that people do all the time. I see it all the time, where people like go to the middle of the arena and then like look around. And wait for Sage to spawn, because the thing is, on this run, we're actually putting Sage way over the phase 2 transition point. So what will happen is since Sage is over the phase 2 transition point, like what we're actually abusing is the fact that Sage will teleport into a phase 1 position immediately, like will always teleport into a phase 1 position, even though he's actually past the threshold. The only time this won't happen is if you get a stagger on Sage, which like I wouldn't really worry about. We actually could get hit coming out of these iframes here. Okay, now we're good. I'll try to show you what I mean. I literally, like, I would say at least 100 people have asked me for a Sage tutorial, like, to learn the spawn location. I still haven't made one. I don't know if I ever will. I probably won't. But I'll try to, like, so basically, like I said, so once you stand in that position, there's only 3 spots Sage can go. So that means there's only 3 crystal formations that can happen. And each crystal formation corresponds to 1 spot. And it's like, it's super easy once you see it. But yeah, so yeah, I'll show you this again. You actually want to make sure you're attacking Sage, like while kind of like this move is happening, because what can happen if you attack Sage and you get the Farron flash sword attack, like if you attack at the same time, there's a chance that the blade that does the stagger, which is the first blade, misses, and you won't get the stagger, and Sage will like hyper armor. It'll look like hyper armor, it's actually not. But yeah, you just want to make sure like Sage is actually like doing something that you can attack on when you attack like that. So yeah, we're gonna get 4 hits in. 3 hits is actually like around the threshold, but yeah, so I can explain. So the first 2 crystals, if you see 2 crystals over there, it's gonna be here every time. So I guess that's the first location, whatever. I mean, there's ways of, yeah, no, you can kill Sage in phase 1 if you really wanted to, like with the parry, I guess, if you didn't want to learn the locations, but it's probably, in this case, it's probably better to learn the locations. You just might as well, you know, and it's super straightforward. So yeah, if there's 2 crystals over, like I guess one thing to note is that Sage can, actually, you might get hit. That's fine. Sage can actually never port onto a crystal in this phase. So if you get 2 in the, like, so the crystals almost guide you towards where Sage is going. So 2 on the other side, Sage is right here. And you see that Sage immediately teleports because he's actually way past the threshold. The threshold's like, it's, I don't know the exact number. It's like 1,050 damage about. It's right about 1,050. It's like, it's over 1,000, but it's, I don't think it's over 1,100. So it's like around that range. And like, we're doing like 1,500 damage right off the bat, so, or 1,300, so we're going way over it. And that's why you get an instant teleport. So if you like, the thing is, if you don't find the location, like if you don't immediately go to where Sage is going to be, you're probably going to have to bone out or something. You're like, you're not going to be able to kill before the other phases start. Yeah, so that's middle, and then like it'll guide you. Like I said, it'll kind of guide you towards Sage is going, where Sage is going. Yeah, and you know, it's super easy, like doing it this way. And I mean, if you were super serious about this, and like, you could learn all the Sage locations for all 3 phases, but, and I mean, I bet you a bunch of you are gonna be surprised when I say that, because most of you probably don't even know Sage has 3 phases, but Sage does have 3 distinct phases. So yeah, why don't you just stand right here? Okay, so this is actually the one on the left, right? It kind of guides you. And there you go, that's all 3 positions. So yeah, you want to do 4 hits on bundled, 4 hits with bundle, and it's actually easier to do the bundle on the final 4 hits, just because you can do it while you're running or whatever. Okay, we're gonna want to get our black firebombs out. I like to take this path down here. It helps if you know this evangelist moveset. If she does a book swing, you actually never need to roll if you run on that path. But like, she can do the mace swings, and like, there's not really much variation with the timings on it. Like, they're pretty straightforward. There's only like 3 attacks, so. Okay, you should have 7 skulls at this point. We're gonna run up to this, like, around this scratch patch and then throw it, like, around that tree. It's actually not that specific, but... You want to do that? And then we're gonna come through here. And so see this plant on the right side? We're gonna, like, just run just past it. And then throw the firebomb. This archer, like, you might want to look back at him, whatever. Yeah, you can just run through here. We're gonna come up here. Have to roll that second backhand swing. Well, it depends how close you are. Okay, one thing that's, like, kind of useless but is interesting about this is if you're, like, if you sprint off of this, then you take damage, but if you, like, jog or any less, then you won't. I don't know. If that ever matters for you, that's what happens there. Like, there's certain runs where, like, I would have RTSR at this point, and I would want to, like, set it up again. Like, that's the only time that's useful. Or, like, I don't know. Yeah. Useful. No, you can strafe around every single attack of this guy. If he does the poke, I'd probably just roll it. But that guy's got, like, 3 attacks he can do. Okay, and then, so this part with the archers, there's, like, a number of ways to do it. The way I do it's probably, like, not the best way, actually. Just because, like, I do need to roll an attack, but you want to run straight, and then around that point, you want to just jump, and then... just like that. Like, you could run a path there where you don't need to roll anything. Also, you want to listen here. Because, yeah, that if you cut across, like, that arrow can hit you. So, like, you can just roll every time there and you'll be fine. Okay, and what we're going to want to do is, so see how there's this line here? You want to line up with it. Like, don't delay like I just did because that guy will catch up. But, so, basically, it's right... see this line? That's where you want to throw the skull from. So what that will do is make it so that the archers behind you can't hit you, because they can actually like snipe you when you're throwing that, like through that railing. So if you're on that exact line, they won't. Yeah, and then for this guy, just do an L1, run to the door. So what we're gonna do, this is actually like a very new strat and like kind of untested, but I think it's good. I actually think it's good. So what we're gonna do is check a firebomb, aggro the giant. Dovikin, thanks for the raid, dude. We're gonna aggro that giant. Okay, we're gonna come through this room, and you're just gonna wait, you know, probably like 5 seconds. And it's the reason, or more, it doesn't really matter, but the reason is so that the guy on the bridge can move forward. So what we're going to do is run to this corner. Let's see if this works. Hopefully it works. Yeah, it works. And so what we're going to do, so you want to have the dagger equipped. We're going to pick up Lloyd's. Don't do that. You want to roll the attack on the right timing. I made a save back there. But if, and I actually delayed too. If you don't delay, you actually don't need to roll that attack. But I was delaying to explain some stuff, so you don't want to do that. You want to be quite fast if you do this strat. This strat is, from what I can tell, it's super consistent and it's fast, right? So if you want to have like a decently fast run. The alternate, if you don't want to do this, which, you know, I could understand why, because actually this next little section, like, that part's actually not dangerous. The part that's dangerous is actually after, because there's like a thrall and stuff, but you can kill him, basically, if you wanted to. The way to kill him is you throw a firebomb, and then you can just hit at his hands, but it's super slow. But that's what most people do on this part. Yeah, I'll show it like I'm actually, like, if you don't delay, it works a lot better. And probably you wouldn't normally be delaying, so. And when I mean delay, like, I was going slowly getting to Lloyd's, so. You can heal, I guess, here, but, yeah, it's not a big deal. So yeah, just wait a second, and I think you saw the guy, the dagger guy that walks across the bridge. Yeah, come to this point. You could actually go through here to be a little bit faster. Yeah, so that's the guy. Just jump off there. So this is the thrall that I was talking about. Also, you're probably gonna have to dodge. He can like sling the mud at you. So, like this. So if you don't want to dodge that, then probably don't do this strat. I go through the other strat in the other tutorial, so. If you want to see that, then you can go check that out. Like I said, if you're honestly, if you're less experienced at this run, this route is probably not the best, but you can still take some strats. You want to watch out because those guys might shoot fire at you. Maybe like a hybrid between this tutorial and the other tutorials, like probably would work better for you. All right, so we're gonna want Lloyds and Deacons. So I mean, so we actually have a lot of extra skulls on this run right now. So I'm gonna use some just to like, you know, save a little bit of time. You can actually use one at the start there, but there's like a pretty consistent way to get that first kill. So basically the short guys, like the small ones, take 1 hit, and then all the other ones will take 2. So like if you're trying to do this like super safe, you might want to like wait until it only gets on the small ones, but you can easily, you know, do that or whatever. So we're gonna kill 4, and we're gonna just come around the side. Like, so there's actually like a number of ways you can do this, but you just kind of don't want them to be right there when the Archdeacon's there. But you can actually, you can like fully just go around the side, throw a skull on the side, and then start welling on the Archdeacon. Or you can do this like what most people would do at this point is like lure them to the back, but you can just lure them here if you have extra skulls on this route, which you do. And then you can kill this last one. And then you can bundle. Don't scuff that skull throw. And then it'll be 6 hits. 1, 2, 4. Stamina. 1, 2. And you can bone out. Just like that. Pretty fast kill. You don't need to lure them back. You honestly don't even need to lure them to the side like I did, but it's maybe a little bit safer. Yeah, you can just do Deacons like that. I mean, yeah. A lot of people take their sweet time on that fight, and you can. That's probably like, it's not a bad idea, but I feel like the longer that fight goes on, the worse it gets. So, but I probably wouldn't recommend going for the bigger guys. Maybe just wait until it gets on the smaller guys, because like the longer you stay in one spot on Deacons, you know, the more likely you are to get hit. So. Okay, yeah, we're gonna come back to wolnir. Wolnir bonfire. You know, I'm actually not sure if a bundle's worth it on this kill here. I kind of just got in the habit of using it because I did it on the no-hit speedruns with +3, but you might not need it for this, but like we have extra, so it really doesn't hurt anything. So what we're gonna do here, there's a number of ways you can take out this dude. This is the faster way of doing it, so... And we do want his ring, like, his ring's really nice. So you come to this, like, little line of snow. 2 hits to the head, and then it'll be 4 hits. So 1, 2, 3, and then R1. That's it. So just that little line of snow there. Before the second lamps or whatever. There's a soul there if you want. There's the bonfire. There's another soul on this other side. We don't need any of it. So this is where we're going to use the branches. And really, I think we use 2 branches in this run. So we're going to use the branch like right around here. And it's actually faster to use this branch strat than killing these guys. So it's probably worth doing. So yeah, you're going to come around this tree. You're going to wait here. This is actually Jerome's strat here. So... this guy will come back, and then as soon as he turns around, you might want to wait like a second. And then you can go. Maybe not a second, like half a second or something. Just wait for him to turn around, and then you can go. And then we're going to take a sharp left here, around this tree. And then when he turns around, you kind of just want to stay still for a second until he starts walking, then you can go. So you can run out of the branch here and then kill these guys coming up. But just to save a branch, it's probably better to just wait. Like, just keep going while not on branch, because we have to wait for this next section anyways. I just like to like walk on this line. I feel like this is a good line here. Then we're gonna wait on that other side. These guys shouldn't aggro. Like, I've never seen them aggro coming from the side. Yeah, so we have to wait for these guys to walk past in order to do this, like, the most safe way possible. So, yeah, you can just walk to, like, here or something. Just stand still. And so as soon as these... So we're actually going to want all of them to pass. So there's the Fire Witch, and then there's 3 guys trailing. Sometimes that guy on the far right can be way behind. And if that's the case, you can just wait longer. Like, you don't need to really rush this part. I mean, the branches really reduce your aggro range. So, like, you can go even right now. But like I said, there's no rush to get through because we have to wait for the next section of enemies to pass as well. So, like, if this guy's trailing, like, don't try to like cut it close. Like, really don't even bother. Okay, what we're gonna do coming up. So I'm one-handing my weapon right now, and I've got my shield out. Like you can swap between one-handed and two-handed while in branch. Like, if you look at my shield right now, it's like graying out. So as soon as you can go kind of right now. But again, there's no rush here, so like if you want to wait longer, you can. What we're gonna do here, you can actually branch all the way up, but in order to save a little bit of time, if you're walking on this exact line, you can come out of the branch, but while like just doing a little, like just tap L2 to block. You can do that, and so that actually makes it so he doesn't aggro at all if you do it that way, which will save like a little bit of time. But you can pop your souls here. Branch left. That's way slower. Well, it's not way slower, but it's slower to do it that way. Yeah, as soon as these guys pass, you can go. Yeah, because what'll happen if you try to go up the left side, it'll block them and like make them take longer to get past you. So it's just there's literally no reason to do it that way. Unless you just want to like make it look like you're gonna get aggro or something. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna come through here. This is just a long running part here. There's really nothing to worry about.
This is going too far.
Bitslinger, thanks for the sub, dude. I appreciate it, man. Enjoy your emotes, man. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna come... There's some enemies in this room. As long as you take this path, nobody will do anything. Yeah, so just roll twice through here. And then run a bit forward, roll once, and then just, not the faster you can go through. Also, you can jump over this railing, and it looks kind of cool. If you want. Or you can just run up the left side. But there's 2 invisible enemies there. Jumping over that railing makes so you don't have to really dodge them, but like if you fuck it up, they could hit you or something, so like I just like to jump over it, but maybe it's safer to just not do that and just run up the left side. Here, I like to get these blossoms because blossoms are like kind of underrated on no-hit runs, I feel like. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people don't use them very often. Okay, we're gonna get this bonfire. We're actually gonna go back to Shrine and get patches here. And you can do that. See, here's the bone trick. There we go. So I'm lighting bonfire. I get the thing queued out. If you do that, if you like want to try that and be cool, just make sure you don't accidentally not light the bonfire and bone back. Okay, so we're gonna buy the key here. We're not gonna upgrade because we don't have any upgrade stuff. We're gonna buy the key, and you can buy, also, I guess I didn't really split. You can buy the key. I think that's really it. You want to make sure you have at least 1 firebomb here, though, because we're gonna trade some stuff. You don't really need to buy the lightning yet. I suppose you can, but we're gonna come back to Shrine in a second anyways, so, like, after Pontiff, to get +6, so. Okay, one thing I should mention. A lot of people actually don't know this, even people who are experienced at this game, but basically, so I think everybody knows of the fog walls that happen here when you first come into Shrine. That's actually based off of your position here. So see there's this little ring. There's the ring, so like from, I don't know, you guys can see my mouse, right? Yeah, you can. Like, so this line here, that goes all the way around, this like bonfire here. So when you're inside the ring, that's when... So you guys saw that the fog gate isn't here, right? While you're inside here, this is where the fog gate will load. So if I run in here, See how it's there now? So, in order to do this, like, the most efficient way possible when coming up, like, I usually buy the key. Just, like, don't go into the circle. You know, just run through here. It'll save you some time. Right, because normally it takes... I don't know exactly how long it takes. It takes, like, probably 20 seconds or 15 seconds to deload. I'm actually not sure, but... just to save you some time, you can do that. So what we're going to do... you can do tree jump here. Get some more free bones. I actually didn't need to buy 5 bones earlier. I could have bought 2, but it's, you know, fine. Whatever. Kind of forgot we did this part. We're going to trade both types of fire bombs here. Even though technically you really only need to trade the black firebomb, but I guess it'll save some souls if we trade a normal one too. And we don't need firebombs for vets to run anyways, so... I guess if you come up here and you don't have a normal firebomb, like, don't even worry about it. Okay, so we have the key. So, what we're gonna do here is trigger patches and then bone back. There's like... I'll show you, like, the most optimal time to bone on this. But, like, don't even worry about cutting it close, because, I don't know. So, you can bone sort of, like, right now. That's roughly as fast as you can bone. And you could just, like, look at spots on the wall, but honestly, don't try to cut it close. It's like a little game I've played over the years I've been playing this and getting patches, is, like, to keep boning earlier to see when he wouldn't show up. And then, like, I finally reached that point, like, I don't know, like 8 months ago. We can buy, like, 20 skulls. Like, just to make the menuing fast, just R1, R1. Don't really need anything else. Actually, you could maybe buy some dark if you wanted to here. You could buy dark for, like, cinder, I don't know, whatever. Or dancer, whatever you want. And now, we're gonna go to Pontiff right now, so we're gonna go back to this manor. Yeah, I'm gonna highlight this and upload it to YouTube probably. The one that people might be more interested in is the all bosses one that I think I'm gonna do after this. So, and I've kind of been rushing through this a bit. Like I really don't feel the need to explain all this stuff too in depth or anything. Okay, make sure you have right eye equipped. It's like not super important, but it's like you might as well have it on Pontiff. There's one thing I maybe should explain here that I will never be able to show because it's so rare. But, so when you're running through these guys, and even like super experienced players might not even know this, the guy on the right there, he can do an attack like the other ones can, where he like, you know, goes up. In order to dodge that, just walk to the right. Don't try to roll it because he's got 2 timings on it, and he just, like, you won't be able to practice it. Like, you're just gonna have to, like, take my word for it. Because it's so rare. But, like, it's one of those things that, like, when it happens, you just, you know. Okay, so this guy, the only attack you need to ever roll from him there is if he does, like, the lightning sword slam. Other than that, you don't need to roll anything. And this part's very specific. I might do this a few times, actually. So, you're gonna want to walk past this grass patch, throw a skull, sort of in that area. Try not to run in front of dogs if you can, because they attack so sporadically. Run, you know, just past this pillar, throw it sort of at a back angle. Run underneath. Regen stamina a little bit. Like, it doesn't need to be full, it just kind of depends. And then I like to use that little pillar to block that other one, and then you're good. If you throw the skulls right there and at the right timings, the dogs will never chase you. And that's kind of one of the mistakes that a lot of new players make. They fuck that part up, and then they get chased or something. This guy's got a few attacks. Most notably is the quick swipe that he can do, and he'll kind of just run up to you and like look like he's not even doing anything. That's one of those things. I'm probably not going to be able to show you all the attacks you can do. You kind of just need to run past that guy a bunch and just learn them or whatever. Because like everybody's gotten hit by that quick swipe probably. And there's like one that's kind of like a middle timing, and then yeah, it's fine. Okay, so Pontiff, I like to just have leather shield and then grass crest here. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, I'll make a save, I guess. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of things with no hair runners where they like. I mean, I'm guilty of this as well, or at least I used to be, where it's like you only parry one attack, and like the logic is that it's just easier to learn the timing of one attack. And like I guess it's kind of true, but you know, the way to fight Pontiff, just parry the opener, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, you just might as well. A lot of people don't. Just do it. So I run up bundle. get the bonus points for an insta repose. So +4, we're gonna want to do 2 L1s here. So when he gets up, 2 L1s, and then this RNG roll back, just like that. Maybe we can switch, do like 3 hits here, two or 3 hits. 3 hits is safe there, even if you have like lower stamina. And you could just finish him off here. +4 has absolutely no problem with Pontiff. And so what you basically just want to make sure, and you know, more experienced players will know this, but if you stand in front of Pontiff like I just did, you can only get 2 possible attacks. One being the one that we just got, which is actually probably the harder one to deal with. Like, and when I say harder, it's just like less people on no hit runs parry that attack that I just parried, probably. But yeah, so you can only parry the fire sword, of course, so he'll do that poke, and then he'll always follow up with that quick swipe every single time. So yeah, that's what you want to parry. Well, I'll see if I can get the other opener here. You actually might want to manage stamina a little bit better than I just did. And the way to get the insta repose, by the way, is as soon as you queue up the parry, like as soon as you hit L1, just hit R1. Okay, this is the other RNG. That's it. Those are literally the only 2 attacks you can do. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and the really nice thing about +4 is that like it doesn't really matter if you miss hits. So. Because you have plenty of time to get extra hits, you know, so. And like the other route in my other tutorial was +9 Pontiff, I believe, which is, it's just so unnecessary, you know? It really is, because I think I did 2 parries on that also, like. Okay, so there's 2 things you can do here. You can run up the right side, which I honestly probably wouldn't recommend. It's a little bit riskier at the end, and like run up the right side and throw no skulls, or run up the left side and throw like however many skulls you really want. Like you can throw 3. Like when I'm doing like serious runs, I'll throw 3 here. It kind of depends on what you're gonna do for this next part. I'm only gonna throw 2 here. If you wanted to throw a 3rd, you can throw it right here and just throw it backwards. So on this next part, there's 2 things that people normally do here. Most people just like slow walk through this area, but you can also sprint through. You can get this large hit if you want to save a few souls. It's slower, but you can, you know, you save a few souls if you wanted to. Never need to roll this guy's attacks. You can just jump off here. You definitely want these ashes, man, because that's how we get +6. Okay, I'll show you both ways of doing this. So basically, if you like the downside of waiting here, so like what you can do is just walk behind all of them like this. I'll show both. The downside of doing this though is that, like, say, you know, I don't know, if there's a certain situation where you get chased, like you can get chased by those guys and they can come up here. So if that happens, I guess like you need to do something about it. Like a lot of people probably would bone out. Don't bone out, because, you know, I would just learn how to sprint through here. I would honestly recommend to just learn how to sprint through here. And I'll show it in a second. But this is the strat that you would do if you didn't want to do that. It's pretty slow. This last part, you can kind of just move over to the right a little bit here. There's an archer there. Yeah, and this would have been the strat in my other tutorial, and then like kind of at this point you can just run through, and the archer won't aggro or anything. So, you know, and if you were doing like a run, like if you're doing your first run, I'd probably say just go slow through there. But like if you're, I don't know, if you want to improve your speed or something, this is an easy area to make up, like, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever. Also, the quit out has no effect on how I just, like, how I sprint through this part. Like, normally what you would just normally do, or what you would do is just, like, so pretend you start here, like, it doesn't matter that I quit out, so I like to have, like, full stamina here. And then the spot that I like to regen stamina at is kind of, like, right about here. This guy you never need to dodge, and then what you're going to want to do is jump off in a way that you don't land on that. And then you're going to want to cut like this through here. And the reason you do that last cut at the end, like why you angle that, is because the archer can shoot at you from behind. Like, you can just listen to the audio cue or whatever, but like, you don't really need to roll if you run on that path. And like, my audio's fucked up for things that are behind me, so I can't even hear audio cues. So that's kind of why I run through that path. Even though it's like a little bit slower, but yeah, you just full stamina. Like to regen about here. Just don't, make sure you don't land on that, you know? But yeah, that's it. Then you can pop a few souls here if you have any. So we're actually going back to shrine here. That arrow, that arrow that actually went above me, that'll happen basically every time. So you don't want to go slow, because that will hit you if you take too long. But like, the way that area works is the same every single time basically. Like, the only variable being that last arrow guy. Like, because those 2 times that I went there, he didn't shoot, but he can shoot. So yeah, you don't want to mess up. And that's why you, like, that guy is actually the reason why you don't want to land on that like ramp. Because like, it'll mess up the timing, and then you're gonna like probably try to panic roll off. Do another bone trick here. And yeah, you can get hit if you do it that way, and then you have to worry about the dodge on that last knight, and it's just don't land on it, basically. Try your best to not land on it. Okay, so shrine, we're gonna get our +6 now. We're actually gonna go to dancer. So if you were doing like the fastest route possible for this, and if you really wanted to go fast, you'd actually do +6 Aldrich, and then do Yorm with Storm Ruler. Like, you probably wouldn't get +10, but I'm just gonna assume that, I'm just gonna go the maximum here. We're getting +10 on this run, and so we're gonna get a +9 after dancer. So we need so we're +4 right now, right? So we need 10 shards, since I have 2 at the moment. But yeah, you just need to get to 10 here. And you can also buy your lightning buffs here too. And we're gonna want to get +6. And you actually don't even need to level up or anything here. Like, there's not a reason to. So you can actually bone after, if you want to even go a little bit further to save some time, like some in-game time, you can just bone after, bone back to shrine after, talking to Andre there. Yeah, so this is kind of at the point where, you can definitely do this faster. Have a faster route by doing +6 Aldrich plus, and then Storm Ruler Yorm, and then get teleported to Dancer, right? You save this a little running section here, and you save a shrine visit. But, if it's your first run, probably just do it this way. And so the old route actually used to fight a like +7 Dancer. That's what probably would have been in my other tutorial, but it would have been without Lloyd's Ring, so we actually probably get... It's roughly the same amount of damage. We're gonna want to use, like, I don't know, we could use Dark or Lightning, whatever you have. Lightning's a little bit better, I believe. Okay, what I'd like to do here is just circle, draw out that guy's attack. Don't pivot, but just circle, draw out that guy's attack. Is Dark better? We can try it, actually, but I mean, it really doesn't matter because it's going to be the same number of hits anyways, so. Or it's likely going to be the same number of hits. And I'm assuming you know how to fight Dancer already, so. You can go in on the 6th spin. I actually kind of messed it up. I don't know if I made a save there. But yeah, I'm assuming you know how to fight dance already. If you have decent experience, so. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to barracks first. We actually do need to go, if you want to get a +9, you actually do need to go to Consumed Gardens to get 3 chunks there. But the reason why I'm going to do this first is because we can actually get a drop chunk, which will save us a little bit of time. So it's actually a better idea to do this part first. And what's really nice about this route is we get skulls for this, so it makes it a little bit easier. So this is the first chunk. I like to throw a skull here. This is a great skull. You can actually get a 2-for-1 as well. Potentially. These guys should be 1 hit. So bait this guy's attack. And then finish him off. Don't whiff a hit like I did. Knock these guys off. Chunk. This guy could potentially like do a dive swing at you. Just like watch out for him. I like to do this, like a little circle strat. Start sprinting. You basically never need to roll this guy's attack, but there's a few situations where you actually don't want to get this bonfire right away, and you want to run up to a safe spot, and the reason is because he can do an attack where he like does like a slam towards where you're trying to go, I guess, and if he doesn't follow it up, that's when you don't want to get the bonfire there, and you want to like go to an upper part and just wait. Maybe I should show where it is, actually. I'll show it in a second. But yeah, we get these chunks, going back. Yeah, so if the guy does that slam that I'm talking about, like it's a super delayed slam that you still don't need to roll, but he won't follow it up. And so what will happen if he does it? Like you'll still be able to light the bonfire, but he can basically do a jump attack or like he can attack you again and catch you right when you get out of the iframes, which I've seen a few times. And so if he does that attack, you just want to come wait here. Like around here, you know. He probably won't follow you up. And then you can go light the bonfire and get the chunks. It's slower, but, you know. I would take that precaution. So what we can do, since we have skulls, wait until this guy shoots. Throw it in there. There's a soul here if you want. Like, you don't need it, but you can grab it if you want to. And then we're going to do the double skull shred in this room. Not super specific, but once you get here, you just want to throw it. Don't hit this wall. Just throw it like in the area of the room. And then when you get to about halfway up this staircase, throw a skull in there. And then all these guys will go after it. This guy will throw firebombs at it, and then you'll be fine. You can try to animation cancel on this. Like that. Roll this guy's attack. He can do a few things. Just, you know. Make sure you know what he can do. And then what we're going to want to do... If you're good at DSA, you can by all means fight him right now. It actually saves time. But we're going to send that down. Yeah, because +6 DSA is actually not bad at all. It's really not that much different from +9. It's like, it's a couple extra hits, but those hits are kind of made up because you're going to stagger them. Assuming you're like, you know how to fight DSA quickly or whatever. But yeah. But that knight can actually chase us up here. And so you just want to be aware of him. So, right now we have 7 chunks. Which is correct. So, what we're going to do... Yeah, this is where, like, if the knight is here, it can actually be a little bit tricky to get down here. But what we're going to do is drop. And we have some fire bundle. You don't really need a fire bundle, but, like, it'll do more damage. So, hit the leg twice. And you want to come into this corner because this has a big AoE when, you know, he comes out. You can actually grab this soul. This is a 10k soul. You kind of might as well. And so, with these Pussive Man on the dragon, he actually can attack behind him. Right, so I can sit here forever and just, you know, do whatever. So what I like to do is bundle, 1 hit, walk a bit back, just repeat this. Just keep swinging at him. He drops a guaranteed 2 chunks. Guaranteed 2 chunks, but the reason we're doing barracks first is because he can actually drop an additional chunk, potentially. We didn't get it on this one, but that can actually be a chunk right there. So that's why we do this, because yeah, if we do get an extra chunk, it actually saves us some time, but we need 3 more chunks. So yeah, we're gonna bone back to Dancer. We're actually gonna have to teleport here. In most cases, it's actually probably better to go to... It's probably faster to go to the gardens first. Like, unless the situation where you get a drop there. I don't know. It's really just up to preference. Like, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, so now we're going to go to the gardens. So we need 3 more. So we're going to go get 3. It doesn't really take that long. Actually, yeah, well, I guess we didn't need all these bones, didn't we? We're actually going to be short, I think. So what you do here, sprint past this guy. And then stop right here. Or, like, you can be a bit further up. But you just want to... Like, this guy's really stupid. And he'll just stand there. When he turns around, just go. You can pop some souls here, whatever, and then... Like, you don't want to go too slow here. So, you know, it's good to drop off there. There's a chunk here. The reason you don't want to go slow is because there's going to be some puss-of-mans that are going to be walking right... Yeah, see that guy there? If you take too long, he can actually be in a really bad spot, and that's just not something you want to deal with, so... Chunk 2 is up here. And then chunk 3 is right over here. And you could actually get a human pine resin that's in there if you really wanted to. I don't know. Like, it's right in there, but you don't need to. Okay, so shrine. And now we're going to get our +9. And we're actually going to level up a few things as well. So I'm going to sell these souls because it's actually like a good amount. Yeah, we don't... I guess we could maybe buy some more bones, but maybe I should have bought it earlier. But we're going to get to a +9 right now. Yeah, I'm actually quite short on bones. It's actually kind of surprising. We're going to want to buy... I don't know. We're going to bone once after Aldrich, and then once more after Princes, and then we're going to want 1 more. So I guess 3 then? So we want to be at 3 bones by now? So I could have just bought 2 extra earlier. But yeah, we're actually going to want to level up here. Because it's really nice to have endurance for these bosses. But so we're going to get to 40 dex. And we're going to get to 13 vitality for a few drops that we're going to do. But like alternately, you can get 12 vitality and buy the life ring. But it's actually just faster to level up the vitality. So, and then we're just going to pump the rest into endurance.
Farewell, Ashen One.
And then we're ready to go to Aldrich. You could do Yorm first. It really doesn't matter on this route. And yeah, the reason we didn't do him earlier is because we're actually going to fight him with Twin Blades because it's more consistent. And the reason being that, like, Twin Blade fight is slower for sure than Stormruler, like an optimal Stormruler fight, but Yorm and the Stormruler can sometimes glitch out, and like sometimes you can, you know, depending on your positioning or his positioning even, like sometimes the hits just don't register and he won't get staggered, and like it drains your stamina, right? So you're gonna die. So you can just sprint past this guy. I would maybe just roll to make it like 100% that you're not gonna get hit by him, but like, cause if you actually like delay a little bit there, he can hit you. I'll show a cool trick here. I'll show both ways of getting to Aldrich here. So I'll make a save right here. So I'll show the slower way first, which I would probably recommend if it's your first no-hit run. So come around this side and... Also, I guess I didn't really mention, it's super useful to be clawing and being able to menu while you're sprinting in this run. I'm going to regen a bit of stamina there, and you just come to the left of this pillar. Whenever they all shoot, just cut across again. So that's the slower way of getting to Aldrich. Yeah, that knight, yeah, so that knight that I was talking about earlier that I just walked past, he can do a different attack that's a poke. I mean, it's super, super rare, but you can just roll it or whatever you want. Like, it's super rare. So this is kind of like the cool way of doing this. Hopefully I don't mess it up, because if I mess up I would die. So you want to land sort of on this, and you can just roll off here. You actually don't take damage unless... So the way you can take damage there, so you see that chest that's got the Estus shard in it? If you land on that chest, you take damage. And the reason we're not taking damage is because we're landing on like this, you know, it's sort of like the DLC, DLC 2 kind of stuff. It's like the same kind of deal. Okay, we're gonna... I'm assuming you know how to fight Aldrich already, so... You want to do like, you know, you could do like 1600 damage or whatever. One thing that's important to note is that if you were, like, so see my distance here? If you're this distance away from Aldrich, he'll never teleport. This is actually the attack you're waiting for. Like, you can go in on any attack, really, but if you get this attack, you're not going to see any phase 2 at all. And, like, a lot of people set up RTSR for this, and I probably said in my last tutorial to set it up. You don't need to. Like, you can get the 1 cycle with +7 in Lloyd's very easily. You know, I don't think I made a save there, actually, but... And there's only 40 decks, like, I think it's, you know... There's a misconception that it's like you want to set up RTSR as much as you can, and like honestly, 95% of the time RTSR is not worth getting. And I would recommend to not get it on any percent. Actually, one thing that's kind of interesting is since our stats are, we have the stats of Vitality. Vitality reduces fall damage by like a good amount, and same with Dex, right? We can actually fall the maximum height in this game. Like, so we can fall the equivalent height of Spook, right? And survive. So if you want to equip your shield for that, then you can actually survive that drop, even if you like miss or whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I really didn't. I kind of wanted to show what moves you can wait for, but... But I think the main thing on Aldrich is just... Like, the main thing to know, I guess, would be that... when you're that position that I was talking about earlier, if you're that position away, Aldrich won't teleport. Unless it's the scripted teleport that happens once Aldrich reaches the phase 2 threshold of HP. So yeah, if you're that position away, Aldrich will never teleport, and it'll save you, you know, some headaches, I guess, with Aldrich and like running around and stuff. I definitely explained this fight more in my other tutorial, I believe. I talked about like phase 2 RNG. I talked about the 4 quadrants in Aldrich fight that determine where Aldrich is going to teleport to. But like I said, on this tutorial, I'm assuming you like have a good amount of hours in this game already, like a few hundred hours or whatever. You probably know how this stuff works already. But I'll show you the, I'll try to show the attacks you can go on. Yeah, so there's 4 quadrants of the fight, basically, and it's exactly what you'd expect. Yeah, so you want to get like 1600 damage about. Like, that's a good amount. So yeah, the quadrants work, so there's, you know, it's split in half, in either way, of course. And basically, Aldrich will always spawn in the furthest quadrant. So this is actually the optimal move to punish, by the way. If you're trying to get the kill here, like, you will always get the kill if you wait for that move. I'll try to show some other moves that are pretty good. This move's not great. I mean, you can go for it, but you're probably not going to get the white 1 cycle on it, just because the recovery is pretty fast. Revian, thanks for the raid, dude. This is another one. This is an attack that's pretty good, so you can bundle roll into it, and then get your headshots, get your, you know, body shots in here, and you'll probably get the 1 cycle. Just like that. And this is why endurance is so nice, right? Like, if I didn't level up endurance, then like I wouldn't have gotten that probably. But yeah, so that's another good one to go in, and the other good one to go in is also it's way more rare actually. I probably won't even see it, but it's also a move where Aldrich goes up. So yeah, that's Aldrich. I'll you know, the quadrants. I'll go in phase 2, and then I'll try to show it, I guess, then.
Maybe I'll give you the best nut ever.
Okay, so this is phase 2.
This is going too far.
So I'm in this quadrant, right? I'm in the back. Aldrich will always spawn in the quadrant that's furthest away from you. Right? And if you get phase 2, this is actually a great move. Because normally, like, Aldrich will have, like, no health. But the same principle of staying that specific distance that I was talking about, It's pretty lenient, but it's still the same case in this phase. He actually, like, that's the problem with this phase, that he can push you in the fire, but it'll still be the same. So if you get into this situation, I mean, it won't happen on Twin Blades. Like, to be honest, it kind of just won't happen unless you really mess something up, which probably won't happen. But yeah, you just stay this distance. Aldrich will never teleport, and you can just, you know, you want to be a little bit less aggressive on your punishing to, like, make sure that you can stay this distance every time. But yeah, so that's Aldrich basically. So I'm gonna finish him off in a second. I guess I can actually, like, show it right now too, because I lost my Lloyds too. So you can you know, punish that a few times. You just don't want to Aldrich teleport because you can get, like, orbs and stuff, and it's just. But if he does, it's really no big deal. All right, after Aldrich, we're gonna bone out. So. Yeah, that's Aldrich. It's honestly Aldrich with +9, super easy. Like, even +6, Aldrich isn't hard, and you'll still, like, you won't be able to get the one cycle on +6, like the kill before phase 2 on +6, but, like, you'll probably get it as soon as he spawns in phase 2. So, all right, we're gonna go to Yorm now, and so this is kind of the main reason why we got 13 vitality. Yeah, because I think it was about a year and a bit ago, like, I worked out the stats to survive this fall, known as Dungeon Skip. Yeah, so what we'll do, you need to make sure you get this roll recovery if you're gonna do that, because you will get shot. So once you get here, you can just start to jog. Just hug the wall. And that Fire Witch won't do anything. One thing that's really interesting, actually, is that if you're hollowed, the Fire Witch won't move, but, like, you don't need to worry about it for any, like, normal no-hit run, but it's kind of cool. Really annoying, actually. So here's the situation. If you have Steam Online, like, I don't even know if I mentioned it at the start. Don't have Steam Online if you're doing no-hit runs, because you will get invaded in certain spots, like by Hazel earlier and by Alva right there. So what we normally do is just kill the jailers here, just 2 L1s. I'd like to just walk past this, and then, because we have to wait for a second here, I'll show you something that's really not worth doing, but it's kind of interesting. Because what you want to avoid on the jailers is getting drained, of course, right? Like, your max HP drain, that does count as a hit. And so this drain move is actually purely line of sight. So what that means is that if you're behind, you won't get drained. Like, so if I'm right here, even if he starts up the drain move, like he is right now, like, watch my max HP, it won't go down, because it's a line of sight. So that's something that's good to know. I'll show you this interesting, it's not worth doing, I wouldn't say ever, but you can actually roll that jailer drain. Because what happens is, in order for the drain to actually start taking effect, it takes a few seconds to almost wind up. So you can see the drain effect on your body. Like, these, like, kind of red particles will come out or whatever. I don't even know how to describe it, but you actually won't be getting drained. So if you start rolling here, you won't get drained. And if you start rolling, like, watch, you won't get drained. I actually think I might have gotten drained right there. But it's not worth doing in any situation. Just don't do it. But it's kind of interesting. Don't do it. But I actually took a bad path at the end there. Like, the only run where I'd say it's, like, worth doing is on the no-hit speed run. Like, that's when I do that. Yeah, it's just a panic roll. Like, you just spam roll. But, like, one thing that I've noticed is that if you're in their line of sight for too long, then it actually will take effect. Like, it did that last time. So, yeah, if you actually do that, I don't know why you would, but if you do that, you can pick up these buffs here. If you do that, then just make sure you're not in their line of sight for too long. Okay, you can damage cancel. This actually doesn't matter, but it looks kind of cool. So that guy can hit you. Watch out. We're going to heal. Take off the shield. So there's a few different ways of setting this up. This is where the dungeon skip is, by the way. This is how I do it every time. I find it the easiest, honestly. Just like that. And so the reason we leveled up vitality is because if you didn't, you can't survive that drop. I honestly, like, it's weird that I say that. I find that that's the easiest way to set it up. I really think it is, because backsteps, basically you can't get a dead backstep, but you can get a dead roll. I'll try to show what a dead roll is. So a dead roll happens when you're right on the edge of something, and you try to roll off. So I didn't get a dead roll there, but like that's what can happen. And so I would honestly recommend to backstep off of this, because it just completely takes away that possibility from happening or whatever. And like the fast way to do is the way I did the first one. You like just roll onto it or whatever and backstep. Like the line will always be right, basically. Like even if I'm further to right there, like it'll always work. So that's why I actually, like, it might look scary, whatever. I actually think that's the best way to do it. Otherwise, if you want to take your time or whatever, you can like line up your back to it. I honestly think that's riskier though. Like, so you could do something like, I don't know, like even set it up with keyboard if you wanted to. Like you can walk onto this and then sort of like angle yourself like this and then do it if you really wanted to. Like keyboard's actually really useful for doing that kind of stuff, like throwing firebombs. It makes it easier and stuff like that. So you can heal like once here, whatever, twice. And then this gargoyle, there's actually no situation where you have to roll him, which is interesting. So like that, you can just walk around. All of his other flying attacks, you can literally just just keep sprinting underneath him. Like just keep sprinting. And he actually won't hit you, it's really interesting. As long as you like don't get stuck on like a rock or something. Like just run straight on that bridge, he won't hit you. I think we're gonna rest here because we'll get Lloyd's. So this part's actually really tricky at the start, until you like figure out a solid way. But I mean, I'll show you one. So what I like to do, wait for that to hit, and then this next one will come basically right away. Do a single roll onto this one, because like you can get dead rolls here like very often, and then you can just roll off. And so like you don't want to like try to rush anything. You don't want to like try to rush to a spot that's like kind of tight. Like just do it exactly what I just did, and you'll have no problems. Because like you might be surprised how many no-hit runners get hit on this part. Like especially when they're going for like one of their first runs, or they're not very experienced or something. Like people get hit all the time there, until they figure out like a good way of doing it. All right, so we're gonna get Lloyd's. We're gonna use lightning here. You can take out your bundles because, you know, why not? This is how you fight Yorm with Twin Blades. So the weapon arm is the only arm that staggers. So like I hit the other arm here. It actually doesn't build up stagger at all. But like that hit did. So he'll stagger in 3 hits. Even unbuffed, you can get 4 hits off to the head. It's actually really hard to hit the head. And then you can repose. And so I think I missed 1 blade there. But still pretty good. So yeah, and then you can just wait for that. So that'll be phase 2. You can hit his arm here for like about 1600 damage. Just watch out for the stomps. You just gotta practice this. Alright, so then 2 more hits to this arm. We'll get another stagger. Not 1 more. And that's one. And it, like, you know, it might not seem like as fast to get Stormwheel. It actually definitely is. But I would say this is a way more consistent fight. Because he really only has like 5 moves, including the phase 2 moveset only has like 5 moves basically. So yeah, you just gotta learn his moveset. Yeah, so the stomp is a hit, and it's at first it might seem like it's fast. It's really not that fast. It's not a big deal to dodge. You can do it in both phases. Way more common in phase 2 though. Honestly, like most of the time, you're probably not going to see it with Twin Blades. Most, I would say. Or maybe like half. I don't know. Just get used to dodging it. And, you know, I guess if you're trying to look at something on Yorm like as a sort of a visual cue. You might like maybe his hand, but like he does a whole bunch of movements that are like make it super obvious. And you know, like the more you dodge it, the easier it'll get to see. We can pop some souls here. Okay, so DSA, this is a fight that, you know, I've improved over a very long time. And there's a lot of really cool strafes that you can do that are worth it. Like, because the kill on +9 is actually really funny. Like, how fast you can kill him. I'll make a save here. Like, it kind of just depends how comfortable you are. I'll show a couple different ways of fighting him, I guess. Like, one being, like, you're way more safe. But, like, it's as safe as you are good, I guess, right? So, you can strafe every single... He's got 2 openers. You can strafe both of them. So, you can strafe that. It'll be 5 hits to get him into the next phase. You can strafe this. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Roll in. 1. So, he actually didn't give us the right RNG. He didn't do the shield bash. If he does this, I would get away. Wait for that. And now he's dead. And I missed it. Don't miss a hit. But I'll try to show most optimal kill, because that's bad RNG, actually. The reason we roll into that position is to bait out a shield slam. Like, I just, like, this fight is actually, like, you need quite a bit of skill to be able to draw out all these, like, strafes and stuff, because it's very based on positioning. You need to know exactly how he moves and stuff in order to get into those spots. But I mean, even then, like, I would have killed him if I didn't miss the hit. So it's like, I also like to use a Blossom on him. Like, maybe use it before we get into the fight, though. But he did the same opener here. 2 hits. So, okay, so if he backs off, I would do this. Draw out this attack. And then you can actually hit it 3 times on that. You can do a kind of a cool strafe here if you're comfortable. Okay, so yeah, I missed a hit in the transition, so that's if you want to strafe. So the 2 main strafes are the shield slam, which I actually didn't show. I'll show the shield slam. And this is if you want, like, a really fast fight, which is worth it, in my opinion, because, you know, you might as well. But I'll show you, after I show that shield slam bait, I'll show you the, like, basically the bait is you stay on that other corner of him, I guess, like the other side of him, but, yeah, just the other side. This is the other opener. You can strafe that too. You can punish this 3 times. I keep missing hits. I'll show you. So this is the position for the shield slam. That's a shield slam. You can get 3 hits off on that too. I think I missed another hit. And you can get the shield slam here. And that's why we roll like that. And then normally you can finish them off. I missed a hit. So yeah, like, Dragonslayer is a super fast fight, assuming you know how to execute properly. I'll show you probably the way most no-hit runners fight him, which is still strafing, but it's like, it's strafing on a slow attack, and you kind of play mid-range. So yeah, I'll show you. But like I said, I'm assuming you have a good amount of hours in this run if you're following this tutorial, so like you probably know already how to fight him, or at least some way of fighting him. But I'll show a kill like this, like doing it kind of more slowly, and then I'll show a kill that. Okay, I actually didn't mean to do that. That's just habit. Okay, so yeah, so what people do is like wait around this distance, and then draw out this attack, and then so you run away. The bait for it is to like keep running away from him basically, and then you cut in. So yeah, you can get 3 hits always here. Some people roll this backwards, and then you can hit him. That's what most no-hit runners probably do. So yeah, you can punish that, but I'll show the attack. So out, and then you go in. You can get 3 hits off on this. I'm not even gonna bother with phase 2 because honestly, you never really see it, but it's really good to know. Like, if you don't know phase 2, probably learn it, but I'm not gonna go over it here because. Yeah. You can also parry DSA if you want to look cool. So that one you can only punish twice, by the way. Like, it depends which follow-up he does. Yeah, so you can just do that to DSA. I mean, this is a move you can parry. Assuming I don't miss, but yeah, you don't need a parry. You can't riposte him or anything, so. Okay, and then, so yeah, that's if you're doing it, if you want to be really safe or whatever, yeah, you can just kind of bait out that attack, get 3 hits off, get away again. But if you're, if you're confident enough to bait some of these strafes, then I would 100% do it because it's just so fast. You'll get like a 25-second fight. And like a lot of the fights, you don't even need to roll. Like a good amount of the fights, you don't have to roll. Like probably more than half the time. Except maybe on the transition if you want to do that. Although there's an alternate thing that I've started doing actually, which is like that strafe I showed on the, like that phase transition, like swipe move. Like that's kind of like, maybe don't do that. I don't know. Whatever you're comfortable with, I guess. So. Let's see if we got shield slam. We actually didn't. Wow. I mean, that's a pretty bad fight, but it's good enough. You probably know how to fight DSA, so. Okay, you don't need this bonfire. We're gonna switch to lightning here. We'll use lightning on princes, maybe? Or you could actually maybe use fire on princes. You could use fire on DSA. Actually, don't use fire. Use magic on DSA. But we kind of want lightning for cinder, sort of. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, and I would 100% recommend doing it this way, is parry Sage here, and you'll probably get to exactly these stats, and it'll kill. So, yeah, run in. You don't need to roll his first attack. You could get Farron Flash Sword here. Yeah, we do. So, you always move. The next move will always be the parry. So yeah, parry Sage. It'll be 4 hits, I believe here. Maybe 5. 4 hits, and so yeah. Just do it that way. You'll always get the kill. Sage will never get away from you unless like you miss or something. Just don't miss. Okay, we're gonna run in front of that guy. He can do a swipe too, so watch out. Just like stay like a good amount of distance away. Like just take that line I did. This guy you don't need to kill. A lot of people do. Don't bother. Just do this. Just run around him like this. He can't do anything to hit you. So we're gonna wait for a second here. If you're comfortable just dodging the thrall and dodging the wax dude, just do that. But at this point in the run, you're probably gonna, I don't know. If it's your first run, you might want to take it slow. So what you're waiting for here is for this candle guy to turn around and start walking the other way so you can like easily throw skull. Also, Revian, thanks for the sub, by the way, dude. Thanks for 4 months. Sorry I missed that, man. Yeah, so he's gonna do like one fake turn. I mean, he turns, but he won't actually start walking, and then he'll keep going and then turn for real. So, yeah, this guy does this every time. And then, so once he turns, then we can actually go. Just dodge or just walk up, chuck a skull. Yeah, right in there. You know. And then if this guy does the spam, I would just walk around from this side. But you can do damage cancel here, if you're cool. Yeah, this guy will do that, so just make sure you're not, like, walking or something. Like, just make sure you have stamina. What you can do here is turn this guy around and then walk this way. Just turn around, that's it. He won't hit you. Run underneath this guy. He won't hit you either. Here we're using the second branch of the run. And this actually kind of, like, I would definitely use this. There's an alternate strat that's quite a bit slower. I probably wouldn't use it. So, okay, so what you do is, so branch before you walk out. And then you're just going to want to walk to a point where he starts aggro. So right when I'm about to walk forward, then he'll aggro. So, right, or he doesn't aggro, he starts his path, I guess. And you just walk into this little gap here. You won't aggro, and he'll walk past you, so... Yeah. Basically, whenever his tail like goes by, that's when I just start to go. You can start to sprint out of here. There's a soul here that you really don't need. You can get. Also, if you're doing like an alternate route where you don't upgrade as much, there's 2 chunks right there that you can grab that might be useful. Like if you're coming through here like +7 or something, or +6, I don't know. You're gonna want a skull there. Definitely want a skull there. If you don't skull there, like it's actually like pretty consistent, but the thralls can catch up to you when you're throwing the skull, and like this skull is like essential basically. So yeah, throw skull there. In this running part, I've seen some really drawn out strats here that I'm not a fan of. I'm not sure like what the benefit is, but so what you're gonna want to do here though is throw a skull like medium distance, sort of like right there is pretty good. You're gonna run this basically this exact path. You're gonna regen stamina right there, and you're gonna count to 3. So 3 arrows you just hit. I'm gonna show a few alternate things that you can do here. So yeah, and then you want to dodge these knights and probably come into this room. I'll show a few things that you can do there. This being like the slower way of doing that like strat. But yeah, so you count to 3 arrows. Like there's gonna be 3 arrows that fire at you there when you're walking up that like second path, or like I guess maybe it's the first like kind of flight of stairs there. And so here's where you can have some variables. So you could actually have every single knight wait here. It just completely random. We have extra skulls though, and the next one I'll show you actually avoids this, but it might be a little bit riskier. But yeah, so there's gonna be a knight here. You can just skull because they actually can't come in here. So I would just throw 2, like throw 1 decently far, and then throw 1 all the way down there, and then you'll be able to get this door, and they won't chase you up here or whatever, even if there's a bunch of them. But you can throw as many as you want. Like you can throw 6 there if you really wanted to. Yeah, and so the reason why you don't want to throw this first skull like too far is because you don't want to aggro one of the archers, which sounds weird, but it'll actually mess up his timing. So yeah, so don't throw it too far. Like throw it like medium distance, like around there. That's fine. You actually you don't even need it. Like you really don't need that skull, but it might make it a little bit easier. So here's the 3 I'm talking about. So 1, 2, 3. And so after the 3rd, if you want, this is the alternate. So you actually might want to throw it a bit earlier than that. You can throw 2 skulls. And that way you don't even need to go into the elevator room. You can just get the door like that. That is a little bit more precise timing. Because like that first knight, if you throw it too late and he does like, his attacks are really fast, so. Like even what I did there might have been a bit late. And so I guess another thing to mention here, like this area is actually pretty tricky. Like it takes a while to get used to, I guess. Those 3 spear hollows that are on the bridge can all swing at you. It's just super rare that they would, but they can. 1. Oh, okay, well. 1, 2. That's actually really... I think I just didn't hear it. Because, like I said, my audio's actually been fucked up for, like, literally ever since I started playing this game. Like, it might have been just directly behind me. But, yeah, you can do that skull strat. I would probably recommend to go into the elevator room, though. And just wait them out. I think it's just safer. Like, in case you mess up the arrows, too, I'll probably do that. But this way is faster. That's what I'm talking about, the guy swinging. And so that's why you want to be, you want to be fast with that. That's why it's like a little bit risky to do, right? Because that like, it's tight, right? That's tight timing. And that's actually like the slowest attack that guy can do, I think. I think it is. I kind of don't remember what attack it was, but the fastest being the poke. which still in that situation wouldn't have gotten me, but it's tight. So, you know, do what you want. But I'd probably recommend to just go into that elevator room and just, you know, throw the skulls if they wait. And there's there's a decent chance that none of them wait either. So you can, like, I would recommend doing it that way. Princes, I mean, you should know how to fight them, but, you know, I like to use my Blossom outside. You can buff here. Whenever he does, like, a teleport, I like to, well, I mean, there's different types of teleports you can do. When he does this one, when he does, like, a teleport like that, I like to walk backwards. It kind of avoids the particles getting in the way, which can, like, be really bad. Because, like, there's situations where, like, if you're not walking backwards, like, like, he can completely be covered by the particle effects, basically. And, like, you can just not, like, because it's a reaction, right, on that teleport, and there's, like, a bunch of different timings and stuff. And, like, if you can't see him, obviously you can't react. So yeah, you can strafe this move. It's a really nice strafe. You can get a few hits off, regen stamina, whatever. So what you want to make sure, though, like, you don't necessarily need to do this, especially if you know how to dodge the orbs and, like, Lorien at the same time. But the thing that almost everybody does on no-hit runs is do the fog wall roll strat. So you're going to want to kill Lorien like, decently close to the fog wall. Like, I would say, like, around here's, like, definitely fine. And then as soon as they start firing, you're going to want to roll back and forth like this. And so, basically, what being at the fog wall prevents is Lorien from being able to teleport directly on top of you. And then you can just wait. You can rebuff there. And then, yeah. And then you can go back in. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're good at strafing this fight, I mean, it could be so fast. Like, with +9, it's so fast, you know? You pop your souls here if you have any. And then as soon as you hear, like, the I don't even know what kind of sound I could describe that as. Like, that big sound, that's when you can hit your homeward bone, basically, if you want to be, like, decently fast and you want a good cue for it. I'll show you, like, I'll try to survive without going to the fog wall, but I would just go to the fog wall, to be honest. But it is slower, of course. Because you need to, like, make sure that he's there, and yeah. You can also easily finish this off on one buff, too. Actually, didn't mean to use it there, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, you can roll back on this opener to any timing. So even if it's not the slam, and he does, like, that delayed, you can actually roll back and just outspace it, right? So you don't even need to react to that. You actually need to watch out for elevation if you're going to be strafing the overhead. You can get a hit off there, but maybe you don't. I don't know. So what you want to do to... Oh, he actually... This is kind of, like, interesting RNG. This is kind of the RNG... Okay, here we go. So... why people don't like that is because most of the time what you're gonna have to do is dodge the orbs, like, walk in a certain direction, but then also dodge Lorien's attack, and he can, like, teleport to a bad spot, right? Like, so say I'm walking this way, he can teleport, like, over there, and then I have to, like, super quickly adjust my, like, walking direction, right? So, like, first I'm going this way, and then I would have to, like, quickly, like, readjust. If you're gonna do it that way, I just wouldn't, because it is kind of, I will say, like, that's kind of one of the harder things to do no hit if you have to. But I mean, if you can react fast enough, it's no big deal, right? Like, it's really not a big deal. And he can even, like, they can put you in that situation in phase 2 even, right? Like, they can, if you get far away, like, they just teleport far away or whatever and do nothing, they can start up that orb attack, and you need to be able to do that. So yeah. I kind of wanted to do that delay just to show that you can roll back on any timing. Like, you don't even need to react to that opener. Okay, they, like, most of the time they teleport here, so let's see. Wow. That's actually insane RNG, dude. Alright, well, whatever. You don't get to see it. Princes is probably, like, it's one of the harder fights for sure. But I mean, Twin Blades, you do it so fast, it's like... Yeah. Okay, so we got our slab. Honestly, what people used to do, and I might have said this on my last tutorial, I'm not sure, is get the slab before Princes that's down the elevator shaft. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. Also, you can level up here. I'm gonna do it after, though. Just because you just want to, like, the slab costs 30,000, and you can buy it once you place all the lore thrones, so. Yeah, like, we used to, what, like, the traditional route used to be was get the, or what it was get the slab before Princes and then level up to plus 10 before them. Don't do that. Please don't. It's so much of a time waste, and it makes Princes, it doesn't even make them easier. It might be like one extra hit that you have to do with plus 9, so. Like, don't waste your own time. Okay, and so yeah, once you place the Lord Thrones, you can buy a slab for 30k. So that's what we use to get to plus 10. Plus 10. And then we have one bone. So the bones actually worked out. So we ended up having to buy like 2 more than I said earlier, but yeah, so we can level up here. Honestly, I'd love to just get endurance. Like, endurance is so nice for Cinder. Like, I'd like to get like 32 or 30, whatever, 33, and you can level up a little bit of dex too if you want. Like, endurance is really nice. So I'll teach you how to do this bone trick here. So basically, have the bone on the hotbar. And like, if you're setting up RTSR, obviously you can't do this because it'll heal you. So just, I don't know. Don't use RTSR unless you really need to, then just don't bother with this. But yeah, so as soon as you start the cutscene, you hit start. As soon as like, as soon as the screen's like, I guess, fully black, or like right before like the image of all the thrones like kind of fades out, then that's when you like activate the homeward bone and go to last bonfire. And so what'll happen if you do that, it'll just skip that that area that you normally have to, like the area over there. It'll save some time, you know. Alright, Cinder's the hardest boss in this run, probably. Also, I have a lot of extra blossoms. I could have used them on, like, Pontiff and, you know, whatever other boss, but, like, you can just use them wherever you want. And it can be a super fast fight if you're good at it, but, like, you might want to, like, be a little bit safer. Especially since he's the final boss, but yeah, Blossom, Lightning. Strafes are really good in this phase. He'll do, like, a lot of overhead slams. You can actually double up. I mean, you can punish this. You can punish a lot of stuff. What's hard about Cinder? He's got a lot of moves. He's got a lot of change-ups. You can double punish this, so he'll stagger. Or not. Yeah, so, like, you just, you know, just practice him a lot. Because he, like I said, he's the hardest fight in this run, probably. And I'm not going to explain his entire moveset right now. I'm going to bundle here. There's a cool thing you can do if you're about this spacing. Wait a second, roll in. You can get 3, and then an R1. It's a lot of damage. And that, like, we have a lot of endurance, right? So, like, we can get away with that pretty easily. Stay outside the range here. I probably wouldn't go in for an attack here because you can kind of just... You might stagger, like, very soon. Punish this. And this. this. And this. It's actually super rare that he won't stagger. You can roll with that. Yeah, so most of the time, if you're fighting him that aggressively, like probably like 80% of the time, he won't phase change. But you just need to know his whole moveset. Like, most people don't punish on curved sword, which I would probably recommend to do the same. But like, you can punish a lot on curved sword if you're good, you know. But it's probably not worth it. The main curved sword punish would be like the when he does the power within. Yeah, Cinder just has a lot of change ups, which makes him pretty hard. Oops. But yeah, so I'll show you how I would probably fight him being like less aggressive. And I'll try to get some other phases in instead of just straight sword. Like, you can strafe a lot of his attacks in the other phases. Like, the punishing on curved sword's basically all purely dependent on outspacing his attacks. And then phase 2 is like quite straightforward. Okay, so let's you need to do a certain amount of damage for him to be able to transform in phase 2. That's probably good. But that's like one of the main change ups on that move right there. Like the kind of the backhand swing after he does like a poke or something. Like, he can do a slam after that. Like, he's got a lot of roll catching moves. Okay, so here's lance phase. This is how I'd fight lance phase. Just dodge these. Like, you can strafe these if you're comfortable. And if you're in the right spot. And then just wait for that. And you can punish that actually twice, I believe. Roll in like this. Punish that. Maybe just, I don't know. I think you can safely get 2 L1s every time here. That's a nice move. That's the fastest lance move right there. You can strafe this very easily too, if you're comfortable. Okay, curved sword. I can try to show. Actually, like, not amazing at punishing these, but because I just don't do it very often. But once you like draw out certain attacks, like, you can actually punish. That. You definitely, like, this is kind of the main punish here. Like, you can get, like, depending on how fast you are, you can get a bunch of hits in. Yeah, and then magic, you're just gonna want to, like, stay in. Like, just keep circling. If he's got soul mass, like, watch out. Every single magic move, except for the soul spear with twin blade, you can punish twice. And it's actually, like, really important. Never roll the soul mass. Like, honestly, just don't. Like, you need to be good enough in order to... Like, you need to know this fight well enough where you never need to roll the soul mass, because it can cause a lot of problems. Also, this is huge because the soul mass won't fire if you're behind him. Right, so you can get a huge amount of punish off. I say don't roll the soul mass as I do it. Oh, this is actually good, because this is kind of the hardest, or maybe one of the hardest things that you can get. Second hardest, probably. I got stuck on the thing. Yes. Oh, it didn't last that long. But yeah, I mean, you just need to know how to fight Cinder. Just, you know. It's not... He's kind of hard to learn, but... Like I said, I'm going to assume that you know how to fight him already. At least, like, to some degree. Like I said, I probably wouldn't go for a hit here. Just because, like, I think it's based on elevation, mostly. Like, he can just kind of swing. Like, and he can, like, do some... Like, he's kicked me out of that before, and he just, you know... Bad stuff. And you can punish, like, so much in this phase, too. Just don't get kicked. Alright, well that's, yeah, I mean, that's it, dude. And, like, considering how, like, I was explaining stuff on this run, like, 122, that's still, That's fast. This route should be like easily a sub 110. Like maybe once you're first learning it or whatever. Like if you're doing it and you remember all the stuff, even if your boss fights are mediocre, like not super fast, it still should be sub 110, which is probably the fastest plus 10 route that I can really think of. Yeah, and it's consistent too, right? So fast and consistent's always good. Yeah, and I mean, that's it. There's not really much else. Like, the boss fights are the hardest thing. Well, actually, that might not be true necessarily. Like, the running sections, you need to get used to them. But yeah, that's it.